Have you ever sat on a plane, maybe looking out the window at 30,000 feet, and just wondered, how on earth does all of this work? How do we have thousands of planes in the sky and not have total chaos? Well, today, we're going to pull back the curtain on the incredible, unseen system that makes modern air travel possible. I mean, just think about it. At any given moment, there are literally thousands of aircraft zipping across the globe. It's a massive, high-stakes ballet, performed at hundreds of miles per hour, miles up in the air. Which, of course, begs the question, who's choreographing this whole dance? Who's the one making sure every single plane is exactly where it needs to be every second of the day? Well, the answer is a global system of highly skilled professionals and advanced technology called air traffic control, or ATC for short. They are the invisible backbone, the unsung heroes who keep our skies safe and organized. You know, to really get why ATC is so absolutely crucial, just picture this. A huge city, packed with thousands of cars, all moving at 500 miles per hour. But there are no traffic lights, no stop signs, no lanes, no rules. It would be absolute chaos, right? Well, that's what the sky would be without air traffic control. So, at its heart, ATC is basically juggling four massive tasks all at once. First and foremost, the big one, preventing collisions. That's job number 1, 2, and 3. But they also have to organize the airspace, creating invisible highways in the sky to keep things from getting jammed up. They also make sure traffic flows efficiently, so you're not stuck on the tarmac for hours. And on top of all that, they're a constant source of vital information for pilots, things like bad weather ahead or changing conditions at the destination. All right, to really see how this all works in practice, let's follow the journey of a single flight, starting right from the moment you hear that doors are closed announcement. Before your plane's wheels even touch the runway, it's already deep in the ATC system. First, it's talking to ground control. Think of them as the traffic cops for the airport's surface, guiding the plane safely through that maze of taxiways. Then, as it approaches the runway, it gets handed off to tower control. Tower control, these are the folks in that iconic glass tower you see at every airport. They are literally the eyes of the airfield. They watch over every single takeoff and landing. They're the ones who give our pilot that final, critical clearance to roar down the runway and take to the sky. Okay, so we're airborne. As we climb higher and higher towards our cruising altitude, the sheer scale of this invisible system really starts to become clear. It's like a perfectly choreographed relay race. As our plane leaves the airport's immediate vicinity, it's handed off from the tower to a team called Approach Control. They handle the busy airspace just around the airport. And then, once we're higher up, we're handed off again to en route control. These are the controllers who manage the long, highway portion of the flight. It's this continuous, seamless chain of communication. And at the heart of every single thing these controllers do is one golden rule: safe separation. It is the absolute bedrock of air traffic control. Every command, every change in direction, it's all designed to make sure every plane has its own protected bubble of airspace around it. So how do they maintain that bubble? Well, it's a three-dimensional puzzle. Vertically, they keep planes on different floors or altitudes, usually separated by at least 1,000 feet. Horizontally, they need to keep them a few miles apart from side to side. And in places where there isn't radar, like over vast oceans, they even use time and distance calculations to make sure those safe gaps are always there. It's incredibly precise. This entire system, all of it, hinges on a constant back-and-forth conversation. You've got the controller on the ground, looking at the big picture on the radar screen, talking to the pilot in the cockpit, who's the one actually flying the plane. It's a non-stop, critical dialogue. And this isn't just casual chit-chat. They use a very specific, standardized language. Phrases like the one you see here are designed to be completely unambiguous. When the stakes are this high, there is absolutely zero room for misinterpretation. Every word matters. And here's a brilliant little safety feature built right into the system. Every time a controller gives a critical instruction, like a new altitude or a change in direction, the pilot has to repeat it back, word for word. This readback is a simple, foolproof way to confirm that the message was heard and understood perfectly. All right, after a smooth cruise, our flight is finally nearing its destination. Now we're entering what's often the busiest, most mentally demanding part of the entire flight, the final approach to landing. As we descend, we're handed back over to the local approach control team. Their job is to basically act as a conductor, sequencing our plane and dozens of others into one single, orderly line, all pointed at the same runway. They meticulously manage the spacing between each plane, and then, at just the right moment, they give the final clearance to land. But what happens if something isn't quite right?
Maybe the plane ahead is a little slow clearing the runway, or a sudden gust of wind kicks up. The controller won't hesitate for a second. They'll issue a go-around command. The pilot will power up the engines, climb away from the airport, and circle around for another try. It's not a mistake. It's the system working perfectly to ensure safety above all else.
Of course, in a system this complex, things don't always go exactly to plan. And that's where the true genius of ATC really shines, in its ability to adapt and solve problems in real time. I mean, a nasty thunderstorm can pop up out of nowhere, a section of airspace can get too crowded, or there could be a medical emergency on board. When any of these things happen, controllers and pilots work together as a team to change the plan on the fly, rerouting around weather, or getting a plane on the ground as quickly and safely as possible. If you've ever felt your plane circling before landing, you've probably been in one of these. A holding pattern is basically a designated waiting room in the sky. When an airport gets too congested, controllers will direct planes into these neat, racetrack-shaped paths to fly safely until a landing spot opens up. And that really brings it all back to the human element. Because behind all the amazing technology, the radar, the computers, this is a system run by people. These are highly trained professionals who are absolute masters of solving complex problems, all while staying incredibly calm under immense pressure. So the next time you're sitting on a plane and you feel that incredible pushback in your seat as the engines roar to life for takeoff, maybe you'll think about that invisible choreographer, that calm voice in a dark room somewhere, meticulously and safely guiding your journey through the skies.